Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So in today's video, as you can tell by the title, we will be talking about a concerning pattern that is currently unfolding across the western United States and southwestern Canada. As you may guess, yes, this is referring to the heat. You've probably seen some of the headlines, California, Nevada, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Utah, Arizona, all been dealing with a pretty large heat wave this past few days, and that will continue, maybe not in the same exact areas each and every day, but for the next few weeks it will be kind of meandering through the western United States and affecting a good portion of the population that lives there. And some of these temperatures will be pretty incredible. I guess the saving grace is that it is already September, so this would be worse if this was in late July, when kind of the peak usually occurs of warm temperatures across the United States. But nonetheless, these temperatures will still be very warm and obviously dangerous, which is kind of why I wanted to talk about this. I do want to address one thing. I haven't been uploading many videos lately. I do apologize. I've been a bit busy, but I will, obviously continue uploading, especially into September and October. It's just that the last few days there have been events, but let's just say that there hasn't been anything big enough to where I could just talk about and address. Usually if anything did occur, it was just across a very small portion of one single state, which I don't really want to make a whole video about, because I'm not talking about, I don't, my viewers are all from all over the United States, so I try picking events that impact the most amount of people, not just a little section, if that makes sense. But let's start talking about this. So right off the bat, you can see I click on the 2-meter temperature anomalies. This is basically, if you know weather maps, this is a, well, if you don't, I'm just going to explain it in a few words, because that's literally all it takes. This is a map that shows us where the temperatures are above average for that given time and date. So you can see this is based off 30 years of climatology. So for Seattle today, it was a pretty warm day, right? It was many degrees above average, and obviously this is in Celsius, so if it reaches that 28, that is something that rarely happens. I think I've only seen it once before, and that was last year across the Northwest in early June. I do believe I saw a 28 degree Celsius anomaly, and obviously that would be catastrophic, and it was. So notice that as I move through the next few days, the rest of the United States, if you live across Wisconsin and you're watching this video, you may be a bit confused, being like, oh, it's perfectly chilly here, it's actually cooler than normal. And yes, that's the case. You can see a lot of the portion of the United States, it's relatively normal. It's a bit warmer, a bit cooler, something you normally see. But you see this right here, this affects a large portion of southern Canada here, and that obviously catches your eyes because of how hot that is, how above average that is for a prolonged period of time. Let me just play this through. Monday, Sunday, right? This is now into Tuesday. Look at that, California, now spreading potentially into the northern plains. Again, these anomalies are incredible. There will be probably hundreds that are going to be occurring across these areas, if not higher. Again, the saving grace is that if this were to be the same anomaly, right, so the same level of above average temperature in, say, July, so if this was an anomaly that occurred in July, that same temperature would probably be, closer to 115, 16, which, the difference between 107 and 116 is, well, it's just hotter. They're both very hot temperatures, but at least it's still a few degrees cooler. But that's the unfortunate thing, that often during fall, we see these stronger anomalies, which sometimes that transition from summer into fall is a bit blurred, because, well, the temperatures just stay about the same just because of these stronger anomalies. But again, if you recall my previous fall forecasts that I uploaded, I did believe that this upcoming fall was going to be warmer, predominantly for a good portion of the United States. And though that still played into the fact that I do believe that come November, there will be an abrupt change, not for the entire U.S., but there will be a lot of cold mixing in with that extreme heat, and that could produce some pretty nasty snowstorms and active weather. But so the first part is playing out accurately. I would say these temperatures are going to be incredibly warm, and I don't really see any signs of this stopping. Now, obviously, not everyone will be dealing with these extreme anomalies. You can see there will be areas of cool weather as well, but compared to the warm, they are definitely rather insignificant. Look at that anomaly right there. September 12th, you can see at this point the western United States kind of exits this. Again, it's a bit far out, but the trend in most long-range models is shifting this dome of very hot air a bit towards the east. But North Dakota, you are well into the hundreds on a day like this, even despite it being September 12th. So possibly some records being broken here. You know, if this were to come true, yes, will it? That's kind of the big question. They'll notice that there's some chilly temperatures right on the backside of that, and that's interesting. You know, Montana could be going from 15 to 20 Celsius degrees above average to pretty much that same amount but below average in a matter of a few days. So that's also not good, those temperature swings. Notice towards the end of this pattern kind of breaks through. We see more of an you still see some pretty incredible anomalies, but it's more normal. It's really more tame. It's not as big of a population under it. You can see there still will be occasional flare-ups, those extremes, but we do see a warmer pattern nonetheless. But you know, it's just warmer. It's not a concerning pattern like this is, because this is really incredible. I guess the silver lining to this is, or well, not directly caused by the heat, but a good thing is that there have been a lot of moisture causing monsoons this year across the west. I don't know about southern Canada, it doesn't seem to share the same story, but especially across the southwest. So these areas could have more limited wildfires. There still will be wildfires. There's no way that will be able to prevent all of them. Though I do believe that there will be potentially a smaller decrease, or a smaller amount of them, as you know, a lot of vegetation here, especially in Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, Colorado, Nevada, and California, are wetter than they normally would be at this time of the year. So that is some you know, decent good news. But again, as you get towards Montana, Idaho, that water, the monsoons weren't as active there. And notice that during this time of the heat wave this upcoming week, it's going to be dry. And again, all it takes is a little bit of stronger wind, that heat, and you have a bit of a problem. Do note, though, that as I put this forward, right around the time that this starts moving out into the northern plains, the heat wave for a lot of the portions of the U.S. here, it kind of gets ended with a tropical storm, some sort of a hurricane. The models have been showing this for a few days now. It's, again, not terribly far out, 132 hours. You can see a hurricane tropical storm hurricane that moves in through the Baja, Mexico, and puts a lot of moisture into the southwest. Now, this could obviously cause some flooding issues, but this also brings a lot of moisture in with it. Then you can see that could spark up a little bit of a showery activity as well. Do note a little bit of snow across Alberta there into Montana, potentially an early snowstorm according to the GFS. Again, that's all possible if you do have those very cold temperatures. And again, it's going to be incredible because you could be seeing snow in Montana just a few days after it you know, was seeing temperatures in the 80s and 90s. But again, that's kind of the front range of the Rockies. They do see those type of weather extremes. So I remember when I was first learning, kind of looking at these weather maps, I was always shocked by how cities like Denver could be, you know, 70 one day and literally the next day get 3 to 5 inches of snow and then back to the 70s. But that's that, and you know, that takes the crown of insane weather. I always thought the Midwest was, you know, they always say, oh, Midwest weather is crazy. It's nothing compared to the front range of the Rockies. And I say that as a Midwesterner. So there's that. And do note that, again, through this whole time of this heat wave, there really won't be any big storms occurring across the United States in terms of land storms. Obviously, there will be activity, but that's more to do with the stalled out cold front and excess of moisture. No big storm system. Obviously, the tropics are definitely something to watch for. And do note that after we get towards kind of that medium into the long range time period, we do get storm systems starting to brew. And that's when we could start being, I guess, more attentive to that. You can see some pretty nasty ones in the future right there, and some that could actually bring quite a bit of rain into areas that actually need it. So that would actually be good. But yeah, we'll have to see. Again, overall though, very, very warm and decently calm for a good portion of the United States, other than that extreme heat wave. But that's not to do with, you know, I guess, chaotic weather in terms of precipitation. So do note this is a European. Again, not a lot of activity in terms of moisture for the southwest. Further east, yes, but again, no big, I guess, cohesive system. Just kind of a blob of moisture that, you know, I guess fires up every few days from daytime heating. Notice that the European, just like the GFS, shows that system moving in. This one takes it further towards California and has a larger impact on the monsoons, according to the European, than the GFS. So again, that's why I have pretty strong confidence in that system. It's actually incredible that the European and GFS are in relative agreement this far out. So that's you know, gives us more confidence. I could show you what the Canadian thinks, and let's see what it does show. There's the one right there, but that's not the one that we're concerned about. There, that's what the Canadian shows with that one. If you notice that, I'm going to play this slower. It develops a system, but it takes it into inland Mexico a bit earlier, so it doesn't really affect the southwest as much. Though it does show a system kind of close to the United States right there that will, I guess, also be on the lookout for. European model, let's go back. I showed you it, but I want to show you what it shows in terms of the temperature anomalies. And let's go back to the one that was out today at noon. It goes out further. So you can see that already the past few days have been very warm across the west. You know, the last days of August. And that will continue into this upcoming weekend. You can see it starts shifting away, though, like the kind of the core of it from the southwest and more towards the northern portions of the United States, the northern kind of western portions and southwestern Canada. Though do note, it still will be pretty warm across Nevada, California, Utah, right into this upcoming week. And if you're wondering when this will precisely kind of stop, for the southwest, it's going to continue through pretty much this next weekend. Though by around a week from today, Friday into Saturday, there could be some first signs of cooling and temperature anomalies that are still warmer, but, you know, relatively not as obscene. And do note that this spills pretty far eastward into southern Canada and the northern United States by this upcoming midweek and into next weekend. So if you live across the north and it's chillier, you know, that's probably going to end into this upcoming late week and into the upcoming weekend. It's going to become warm again. How warm? It's a bit uncertain, though it does seem that it's going to be a substantial increase. And though, again, not as incredible as what we're seeing across the western United States right now. So, yeah, that's that. And let me show you ensembles. This is a good metric kind of to show what the model thinking is overall. It's many models combined. It's not just one, so it's kind of an averaged look. So, right, when there's an anomaly as strong as this from an ensemble, you know that the chances of it being above average here are actually very high. And notice that the further out they get, the models get more disagreement, so the colors aren't as significant. Because, you know, one model may think, yep, it's still warm across the southwest, and another model, which this one's made out of 30 models, different models, might think it's warmer further up north. So you could see that it's a pretty good look. And notice again, keeping the west and it's kind of the northwest as the warmest, though towards the end of next week it starts spilling eastward, and the southwestern Canada especially starts cooling off, and potentially seeing maybe, if you recall the GFS earlier, the kind of the operational model showed a bit of a cool down there. So we'll see, but you could see definitely a lot of warmth in the near term, and in the future it doesn't seem to be completely going away, which I would say is probably reasonable forecast to make, as again I do believe this fall will be a warmer one. And you can see that in the long range, that's still a decent level of anomaly from an ensemble this far out, right? So you're definitely a warmer pattern as opposed to a cooler one for a good majority of the United States. Obviously, will be certain areas that are going to be cooler. You can see the south right there with cloud cover from the tropics, I assume. Could be a bit cooler, but as a whole, definitely warmer. And notice 6 to 10 day outlook. So this is from the 8th through 12th. It's the Climate Prediction Center. It's a very good tool. You can see a lot more oranges, so a lot higher confidence in it being warmer as opposed to cooler. Again, there will be areas that will be cooler. That's actually good that it's across areas like Texas. They're in a pretty bad drought, so I guess that will limit evaporation. Notice also above average, so that makes sense. Cooler, cloud cover, rainier across the south, and below, I would say average, according to the Climate Prediction Center, across the west central United States and extreme Maine. So that's interesting. And the 8 to 14 outlook, further out again, you can still see the warm kind of expands even more. The below average continues maybe for these areas, especially if that tropical storm were to occur. That could bring in some cooler temperatures. And notice potentially some cooling across Washington, Idaho, Montana there. And maybe wetter for a good portion of the United States, excluding kind of the west central northern United States. So that's that. And yeah, that's basically all I wanted to talk about. Just give you a quick fill-in on what the temperatures are going to be doing. A little again, short summary. The western and the southwestern portion of the country and as well as southwestern Canada will be dealing with very warm temperatures into this upcoming weekend and into this upcoming week that will be spilling into areas like southern Canada and northern US. So Minnesota, Wisconsin, North Dakota, even Michigan, as far as north or east as Toronto, Montreal, into this upcoming mid to late week. Those warm temperatures will reach you. Not as warm as what they're seeing in the west, but definitely above average. And the south staying chillier throughout most of this period, with the south central United States, Kentucky, Missouri, being mix of cool and warmth right around average, and eventually into next week, so around a week from now, probably transitioning more into a warmer pattern. Again, not as incredible as what the west is seeing most likely, but a warmer pattern nonetheless. And the northern plains will be seeing some pretty extreme heat into this upcoming, starting pretty much early this week, as that heat is going to be starting to spread towards the east from that west. And you can see that, you know, already by Sunday, Monday, we have some pretty strong anomalies there, and that only continues to intensify into Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and Friday, and that sticks around for quite a while. All right, that's basically it, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all on the next episode. See ya.